Runes and masteries are really important in the early game.
You choose with your runes and masteries kind of your play style.
I have 20 run pitches. For AP I have like 10, I think. And it depends on the hero I play and I guess what hero I have.
There are some kind of junglers like Lee Sin, like Xin Zhao, like Jarvan that goes full offensive in masteries, like 21-9-0. In the opposite, we have champions like Nunu that can work pretty good with 0-9-21.
Да, действительно, в лесу ты очень сильно зависишь от своих руномастерок, не только сражением с врагом, но и убиванием просто, скажем так, лесных кемпов.
There was a top laner in one team who was playing top lane Karthus, and he used to just go full tank, and people did not know how to play against him because they couldn't kill him. That was a big thing that Froggen even did as well in mid. He would go like flat magic resist, and if they didn't take enough spell pen, they would never win a trade with him. There's a lot of things like that you can do and catch your opponent by surprise.
Bienvenidos de nuevo. We're in the home stretch of day one in Spain. It is time to introduce our next two teams on stage. First up, on the blue side with Aranea in the jungle. Give it up for Team Alternate. And on the red side with Bjergsen in the mid lane. Give it up for Ninjas in Pajamas. The teams are ready to go. Let's go back to D-Man and Jason and Quinton and Gilligan for the game.
Thank you, Sharks, and welcome back, everyone, to the caster desk here in Tenerife. Let's get the final game started because it has actually cooled down. It's nice here now. It's actually a bearable temperature because the sun's gone down, of course. So let's check out the teams. On the blue side, it is going to be Alternate starting off in the top lane. Of course, it will be Kerp, Aranea, Ferellenlord, the temporary AD carry of White Knight, and J-Re on support.
Of course, over for NIP on the red side, we have Extinct in the top lane. He looks very happy in that picture, actually. Maluno in the jungle. Bjergsen looking very serious in the mid lane. Freeze and Deficio as AD carrying support.
It's like someone's told a joke, and slowly as you go along, they're all trying to crack up and they're trying not to smile. Let's see who they picked. You guys at home. Who did you pick to win this?
Well, 52% of you voted for Alternate.
So sat on the fence, basically.
Yeah, so pretty much. I mean, considering how strong NIP looks lately, it's 6-1, and Alternate, it had been a little bit of a slump. What was that they're in behind us?
That was Link. Link just went past. Zelda's in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. This is problems. Remember, you guys at home, you can head over to lolesports.com and vote for who you believe will be winning the matches all weekend. We are, of course, live tomorrow and Saturday, so it's not quite the weekend.
Yeah, and currently
it's a weekend for me anyway.
Yeah, and currently we're still live over, or we're now live over at NA with Cloud9 versus TSM. So if that's what tickles your fancy, go check that one out. But you know, you can stay here.
Alternate NIP. This is where you want to be because this match is honestly the top slots. Alternate, of course, they are still at the top of the table, but it has been a rough couple of weeks. Only picking up one win in the last 5 games. But it's worth pointing out that win was against NIP.
But I just want to reiterate, Demon, 1 win in 5 games is just not good for Alternate. I mean, they started off the whole split 5-0 in week number 1, and now have only picked up 4 wins since then. And obviously, it's due to a little bit with, you know, Creatine breaking his hand and White Knight coming in, you know, for sub middle, and then now sub is AD carry. But we see that's going to work out because Creatine, he really left some big shoes to fill.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Left some big shoes to fill, and right now, wow, I can't even talk. You got me messed up. So White Knight needs to fill those shoes, and he has a lot of pressure on top of him. And if they have a chance at winning, he really has to step up. You heard Arne talk about him a little bit earlier. So he's a really good AD carry. He's really starting to adapt, but the time to shine is now.
Can you see Aranea on your screen? This is the 4th Spaniard. Will he lose? That's the question.
You know,
I gotta be honest that I can't show you because the camera's not on us, but I'll show you when the camera's back on us how exactly Kraton's hand is broken because he can't actually play. There's no way he can do it. NIP, though, on the other hand, they have had a magnificent few weeks. You can see them on your screen. Very happy, and why not? Because they have last gone 6-1 since their lineup changes. That has taken them, really, it was a 3-man roster swap that anyone at home was walking in and thinking, that's a lot of changes. But honestly, they have been very impressive. The winner of a Gambit last week really was the nail in the coffin. They have been incredible.
And it seems like they're only getting stronger though as the weeks go on. Like we've talked about them being strong early game. We talked about the first week when we saw them all together, how they might be a little bit off late game when they get into the team fights, but that synergy has been really coming together with their entire lineup. They've been playing phenomenally. Extinct's been really impactful in the top lane. Freeze has been really impactful as AD carry. We see his Draven, just phenomenal job. And the thing is, if they continue to do this, then they're going to keep winning games. However, they need to keep adapting their strategies, because if you look at how they've been playing the past couple of weeks, it's been the same style. And I'm really worried, have teams finally figured it out? And if they do, then NAP might start to lose some more games.
Well, we will see, of course. There's a lot of changes and there's a lot of champions they have selected. So let's talk about Kraton's hand, because it was this bone here that he's broken. How he's done it, I think he chopped something on the door maybe, I don't know what it was. But instead, he's actually got this all bound around and his hand is like this. So you can't do a lot with the mouse, unless he's got a trackball. This is what we were talking about.
You're looking at your own hand.
I reckon he can. I know. Well, I gotta hold it for you guys at home, and I gotta look at it. So it's like that.
You think he like hits
so he's got
women?
his pinky, but his 3 fingers are bound together, and it's kind of all here broken
up. Do you think he hits some women like, my hand's broken, or something like that? I don't know.
Oh dear Lord, Jason. Why do you always pull it back to women?
What? Oh,
where does your mind go?
You don't want to know.
You're not even in the game either.
I am not even in the game.
No.
Thank you for pointing that out, Demon. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But
I was just about to say, are they ready? But clearly not. So we're going to talk a lot of rubbish for you guys at home while we're watching. So you can see the stage. It is a beautiful stage here in Tenerife, and it is a beautiful setup. The crowd suddenly ran away. I don't know whether someone rang the dinner bell or what. It's like it's like 9:30, and they all got up and went, "That's it, we're done." They've seen RNA
you
lose.
see right there, though, our purple caster minion was still there, as well as Arcade Sona. But though I heard her talking earlier, so that's not true cosplay. Sona doesn't talk.
So that's actually true. We're just playing the instrument.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we saw some power chords from the last game of Darker, pulling out his Dragon Force, fire in the flames. They killed the dragon at the same time as well. Just distracting you.
Where are you going with this?
I don't know. Deficio, there he is. He is a ninja, and he is in pajamas right now. And he's, I'll say, very good. I would say a very good win rate, but 0-6-10 doesn't show well. That actually is a little bit harsh, because he did have some very good games on Sona. Yeah, and more importantly, Nami is one of his main champions he's been playing lately. He didn't play on his nanny. He's played with Nami.
Well, the thing is, he did really bad that game, but he's been doing phenomenally lately, just like you mentioned. He's had quite a few games where he hasn't even died, and right now he's sitting in 4th in KDA at a 5.7.
Well, Jay Ree, on the other hand, he did have very good stats. He was 1-18, involved in 19 kills, and I believe that was a 26-kill game, if I remember correctly.
It's not a bad percentage of amount of kills he participated in. And I mean, Jay Ree, we should talk about him a little bit, because he originally got into the scene playing or subbing for CLG EU back in MLG Dallas, I believe it was, and he did fairly well with them. And then now over in Alternate, he's been playing very, very strong. Like, we've seen his Sona do very well. We've seen, I believe it was his Fiddlesticks in the first week. It didn't work out that well then, but the next time he played it worked out. He's been really a core member of Alternate.
Oh, there is another man that's come into the NIP team recently. He's probably one of the most experienced members, honestly, along with Extinct next to him. Maluno and Extinct used to be in KCU. A little bit of confusion from Extinct's face.
What is this thing in front of me?
What is this?
A microphone?
This is a little bit close. What's it doing to my face? Kraton, of course, he got himself topped up in a town when he decided to go on holiday.
That was for Eleanor, I believe, though.
For Eleanor, that's the one I meant.
Maybe Creaton's now on holiday because his hand's broken, so he's enjoying the highlight.
That's what he wanted to do. He thought, if Ferelno can do it, I can do it. What am I going to do? I'm going to break my hand. Okay, this could be a problem, but it's the first sports injury, if I could say the words right, in the LCS. Technically, they're all pro athletes now.
That is true, yeah. So, unfortunate for him, unfortunate for Alternate so far, but why not? Honestly, it could be like the opportunity he was waiting for, because now he gets his name out there through all these teams, but he hasn't been performing that well.
And it was interesting to hear Renee's interview with Joe and Freak earlier on, because when they asked that you were a top 3 team, he was like, NIP definitely a top 3 team now, and he's like, we are with Kraton.
Yeah.
So that tells me they haven't got 100% faith in White Knight right now as their AD carry, which, is that good or bad? Is it rightly? I mean, Kraton, they were quite happy to say he is the best AD carry in the world, they reckoned. or one of, certainly the best in Europe.
I mean, Arna, he's talked about White Knight, saying he's been finally adjusting, he's been getting better as the weeks go on, and I guess it means there's no pressure on him if Arna or any of the team think that, you know, they're better with creatine, but that means he can make a name for himself. If he starts to perform really well, I mean, other teams might look at picking him up, or he might get a spot on another team that's actually in the up-and-coming LCS in Season 4, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, we'll see how that goes as well tomorrow. Don't forget, we're going to see Copenhagen Wolves in action against ESC Icy Box. That will be tomorrow's match, starting off around about 3 p.m. Central European time. But right now we're into Chips Select.
I will take the Chips Ahoy.
Chips Ahoy. Picks and bans. I don't know. It's been a long day, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I can say. Draven, Elise, and Twisted Fate have been banned out by Alternate, Lee Sin, Lysandra, and Oriana? Shen being banned out. That does mean... Who's snuck through? Nunu, of course. That's who Alternate picked in their very first game of the LCS.
And I think that actually NIP kind of expected this. So they took away the Shen from Kurt because they don't want him playing that champion that he hates to play but does amazing on every single time, which is really, really odd. But they do take away the Draven and the Draven from Freeze, who did so well against Gambit last week. They take away the Elise from Extinct, who's been very strong in the top lane with it. Even Bjergsen back in LCS Moscow did really strong against Lemon Dogs with it. And of course the Twisted Fate, just a general ban.
Well, hasn't been locked in yet. We'll see whether he switches across to Nami, but I think Thresh probably will be selected. Not quite the Thresh Prince yet, Deficio. I don't know, what did Denmark have kings and princes? I'm not sure.
You're asking an American right now, Demon.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Why did I do that? Unless you guys at home, you might be more knowledgeable. That's harsh. Sorry. You
can feel the love here today, guys.
Oh, yes. We get on fine, don't worry. Caitlin's going to get locked in. It looks like Freeze is going to go for that one. Draven is banned away, so that was his go-to 100% win rate champion as well, I believe, for Freeze. But, yeah, it is going to be Caitlin for him this time around, and unfortunately for him, it looks like he probably won't get to play Draven before the nerf hits.
Yeah, I mean, when 3.9 comes around next week, I believe. He obviously was tweaked around quite a bit, not going to be as strong, and just like I said, quick picks coming in, so we see Sona and Varus. So that is a very, very strong lane. So you have Varus, who necessarily doesn't need to build attack speed when you have that Nunu, or at least you can delay it a little bit longer. But the whole combo of the Crescendo with the Chain of Corruption just shuts down a lane, so we might potentially see a lane swap out of NIP, but then again, they have a Caitlyn, they have that extra range, they have that early game power with the Thresh if they do land that hook.
We did see Varus banned out in the last match as well, which kind of surprised us, but well, it was against Lemon Dogs and seemed to work out very well for Gambit. This time around though, NIP, who've had some fantastic results. Can they go 7-1 since having this roster change, or will Alternate finally turn the tide? Kerp at the moment sitting on Teleport Revived. I don't think he's going to be staying with that.
Yeah, most likely not. But I mean, NIP, they went from the bottom of the tables to now 3rd place, 8-7. Like
that is turnaround from Moscow basically onwards.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we saw them do it in the spring split. We saw them do it yet again here in the summer split. And if they keep on this, just like Arne said, they're a top 3 team in Europe. They might be able to get a spot into the playoffs.
Kennen and Oriana are going to get locked in, so that's going to be Bjergsen on Oriana, which means it will be the top lane again. Actually, you know what? It could be the other way around because Extinct is quite capable of playing Oriana as well. But I expect Bjergsen and Galio Zillion? Don't think so. Revive on everybody. I just noticed that.
And Clairvoyance over on for Ellen Lord.
Aram. Actually, no, you wouldn't need a revive on Aram.
Yeah, I don't believe so. But, I mean, we did see Bjergsen last week against Gambit on Oriana, picked up a triple kill at Dragon, which really started to snowball the game for them, but we've seen him play Kennen, so it really could go anywhere. Not 100% sure, but I would say that Kennen would definitely be on Extinct here. And so far, they have a decent lineup, but I really want to know what NIP's going to round it up with.
Well, we're waiting for the final choices. Will we see Kurt playing Jax in that top lane? Interesting choice. Nope, going to switch it possibly to Aurelia. Similar type of champion, in a way.
I talked to quite a
bit more controlled.
Yeah, I talked to quite a few top laners, and they say Aurelia is still really strong. It's just people don't want to play her. And if you go a little bit of attack, a Blade of the Rune King, then into like a Triforce and straight tank after that, or maybe just Blade of the Rune King straight tank, you are really hard to deal with. So we might see him go that route, but we do see the Ahri locked in behind that, which Ferran Lord has done phenomenally on. I'm thinking back to Alternate versus Fnatic, when he just kept teleporting around and really making some plays happen.
Well, it tends to be the standard pick. Once you got an Ariana, you're going to have an Ahri. Or once you have an Ahri, you're going to have an Oriana. It tends to be how they counter each other, or not so much counter, it's more of a skill matchup, as we've seen many times in the past. Final pick for Ninjas in Pajamas. What will it be? A jungler
Jarvan
for Maluno. Jarvan is available.
Oh, that works as well.
Zac is available. That isn't locked in yet. There's discussions going on between them. Is Deficio obviously making that choice for his jungler?
Well, we saw Maluno play Zac last week, so he did actually a pretty good job on it, but someone to deliver the ball. We need a BDS champion, and that looks like it will be Zac, or maybe potentially Jarvan if he does want to switch up to that. But Zac does facilitate that, and considering you can lock a group up with the Kennen ultimate, you can do a lot of damage.
Well, we do see, looks like it is going to get locked in. Currently sat on Extinct. I don't think that's going to stay the same. I'm pretty sure they're going to switch around. Everything will rotate through. They're going to have to do a bunch of transfers. They're having to talk about them all at the moment because there's that many transfers they've got to do. So what are we seeing from both these teams? You talk about the ball delivery system with Zac for Orianna. Of course, you can layer that on top. Extinct could be diving in there. Freezer's going to get some free time at the back.
Yeah, so NIP, they want to team fight quite a bit. The problem is, though, if Ultimate shuts them down a little bit early on, then Kennen's going to be missing on quite a bit of damage. Bjergsen on Orianna could be missing on quite a bit of damage because if you put her behind, her ultimate's not going to mean as much. So they want to go for that, and they want to have Freeze just, like I said, attacking from the backside. But alternate side, I think they want to make a lot of early game, well, obviously with the Nuno, just a lot of early game presence, a lot of early game aggression just to counter jungle quite a bit and to kind of shut them down.
Beach, sun and girls. That's apparently what the TLP and LCS brings. Tenerife equals paradise. And they are enjoying the Tenerife LAN party here, which is what the TLP stands for. Crowd still staying strong. I believe what it is they've closed the venue down. Everyone that's left remaining are the actual gamers, the real hardcore gamers here themselves, because there is a LAN party happening off to the right of us as well. And these guys are sticking around for the final match, which honestly, I think could potentially be the best game of the day.
Yeah, it definitely could. It easily has potential for it, and we're going to see if Ultimate can bring it, and if NIP can kind of do the same here. And it's all going to come down to that menu you see on your screen. RNA, he's been the guy in the jungle to really make the plays happen with the Lee Sin, with his Nunu, to really counter jungle. It's all about him, and I want to see if NIP is going to be able to shut him down.
Well, there is Defizio, one of the few vocal members. Defrizio is the lane, isn't it? One of the few vocal members of the team. There is a pause at the start of this game, so don't get excited. We're not zooming into that screen just yet. We're just going to linger around there. We're not quite ready. The pause, it looks like it's with Ninjas in Pajamas. We're seeing Freeze and Bjergsen. It looks like Bjergsen's the one that's called it.
Yep, Bjergsen actually has a black screen, it seems, so hopefully we'll get that done in just a second and get this game underway, because I definitely agree. This is easily going to be the best match of the night, and as I say that, it's probably going to end up turning into a one-way stomp, but I have high hopes for this team.
And it's weird, because the last time these guys met, like I mentioned, it was NIP that lost to Alternate, and it was such a strange weekend, because that's the only team that Alternate actually have beaten in the two or three weeks, and it's the only team that NIP have lost to in the 2 or 3 weeks. And it was when Lord, who's on your screen right there, wasn't here. White Knight was playing in the mid. They just got smashed aside by Gambit, and then suddenly they come up against NIP, who looked unstoppable against SK Gaming the game before that, absolutely got destroyed. It was a really strange game, and NIP, they just had one of those days where it just didn't seem to work for them in that match.
And I bet you they have their, they have that revenge they want to pick up here today against Alternate, as we are going to get finally into game here. That slow motion zoom onto the screen. And looking at any potential level 1 action, I'm trying to decide, because the charm out of Lord on that Ahri can be very devastating if you do land onto the right person, as we do hit another pop. You even hear the crowd go, aww.
And now
can't right click.
Even Dave behind him is like, it's not my side this time, it's the other side. So it's, yeah.
That is a bad sign. If he can't right click his trackball mouse, how is he going to get a replacement? Does he buy like a pack of 10 of these and then just bring them with him?
I told you, I saw them at the airport, these guys, and they didn't have the keyboards and mouses with them. I was like, where was your bags? They were like, oh, we checked them all in. It's like, you're professional gamers. Why are you checking your keyboards and mouses in? I just didn't get it round my head. We've seen it so many times at tournaments that teams just turn up and they don't have their peripherals, and with a trackball of all things, who the hell's got one of them spare?
Well, luckily we're at a LAN party, so maybe someone out there actually has one and he can let him borrow it.
It's like a 1 in 1,000, I reckon, maybe, lucky. Because until he'd brought one in, I hadn't seen one for about 10 years, and I've been around the industry for a very long time. I'm talking about the IT industry, not just the esports itself. But there's not a lot of coming on from the level 1 startup, so it doesn't look like NAP want to be aggressive here, and it doesn't look like Alternate want to be aggressive either, so it's going to be a slow start. 100% win rate for Thresh. That's not a bad result to have there for 4 games as well for Defizio.
Let's see if he can land any really promising hooks this game, as they actually are set up around Baron for some reason, maybe expecting Alternate to invade here, but as you can see on our minimap, they're not going to go for it. They're just going to ward up, and they really want to stop RNA from counter jungling, which currently he's not really set up to do just yet.
We'll see whether Bjergsen sticks around and what the lane changes happen. If you remember the last game, which wasn't too long ago, if your memories have been a little hazy, they tend to get like that for me. We did see the mid laners going in towards the top lane, and Alex, it stuck around in the mid lane. He was against 2 AD and support, and maybe NIP are thinking of doing the same. They're actually sticking around for a long time on this red buff. There's 4 members there to try and help off this red buff, so it seems like Maluno's going to try and go Smiteless here and see if he's going to maybe go for blue invade, but he'd be going the wrong direction because Aranea will be starting off on that blue buff.
Yeah, and we do see NIP has a ward down on their own blue buff, so they will spot Aranea coming in either way, and we will have that lane swap actually happen, so that's why NIP can afford to leave 4 members over towards that red, and that means that Kerp's going to have a tough time, and this is actually what we typically see. You never really see Aurelia go in a 1v1 lane. They always get 2v1 just to kind of hold them back because they know if Aurelia gets fed and doesn't get checked on, then she's going to just snowball this game, and she can be really difficult to deal with.
Started out with that Doran shield and health pot, so kind of was expecting this as well, I think. Freeze immediately tries to zone out Kerp. Kerp just happily trots back, or not quite so happily, but grudgingly trots back to his turret. Meanwhile, down the bottom lane, and there's Maluno. Actually did go Smiteless on the red, so he's going to be using that smite in a moment. Aranea is going to be doing the exact same on the red. So jungler's doing pretty much reverse paths even. But White Knight, he's the AD carry down that bottom lane along with J-Ree. He's on zone. Hey, he's got a lot of ease. What can I say? 55.9% win rate for White Knight on Varus, I believe. Or was that Varus overall? I didn't quite catch it. It went down.
Fast.
That was a quick graphics stat from the graphics department, and they were very fast on the trigger.
We do see, though, Maluno sticking around bottom to try to maybe counter a gank here, but it's a gank that really won't come in the end, as Aranea is just going to stick in his own jungle. Still hasn't counter jungle just yet, but I think give him a little bit more time, and he will start to do that, really start to put some pressure onto Maluno.
Oh, Maluno is going to stick around, hasn't stretched himself out, ready to launch. He's going to try and defend out that turret, almost certainly expecting pressure, and you can see the exact same happening in the top lane. White Knight's going to be the focus target, though. Barrier was used there. The Ignite was going down as well. He's taken very low, but I don't think it's going to be enough. One more shot would have been a stun with the Shuriken, but it wasn't quite there, and he does back away. But that was a lot of summoner spells burnt out. White Knight having to use that flash. Actually didn't use Barrier.
Yeah,
I swear to God I saw Barrier.
But still, taking that flash away is the big escape mechanism for Varus. So Maluno wants to come around again. They should be able to pick up a game as the graphic comes back up again.
34 picks.
34 picks.
55.9% win ratio. Amazing. Amazing.
All right, so we do see Aranea. He's still currently in his own jungle. As you can see him moving away on that minimap. He was sitting top lane just to kind of help Kerp out, make sure he doesn't get pushed out of lane like we saw earlier on today with Zoro against Gambit, where he got pushed out at level 1, didn't actually level up till about 5 minutes in. So he was still level 1 for about 5 minutes of the entire game. And also it gives Aranea a little bit of levels here.
And then just speed level.
Yeah, he got power leveled by minions.
Power leveled by their minions. Freeze is trying to freeze the lane against Kerp. Didn't need to think much on that one, gotta be honest. It's been a long day.
I feel like you might have been saving that one for a while.
No.
Okay, I trust you. But either way, Extinct. Khaleesi at 16 CS to his counterpart Kerp on 8. So he's doing a good job so far of just keeping that farm up, and that's due to Maluno coming in and really pushing White Knight out. And it's going to come down to, can you keep Kennen behind? Because we've always talked about how if you shut him down early on, he cannot get into that Zhonya's Hourglass early enough, and he can't apply that pressure that he needs to. So it's up to Alternate to make the decision. Do they want to shut Kennen down? Do they want to shut Bjergsen down? As we see Kerp already down to less than half life here, and we do have Aranea sticking on the side, so he's going to be able to protect him. And still, good job by NP to really punish him. They do have an ICS lead as well in the top lane.
Aranea taking a bit of a lashing from Deficio and Freeze as well, just outside of the tower range. Both of them very low at the moment. I was going to say Extinct. He's actually being very aggressive in that bottom lane because, frankly, the flash was already burned from White Knight. He's not really got too much to fear. There's the hook being thrown out from Deficio. Doesn't find his target. It is going to be Kerp getting the stun on towards Deficio. Throws out his shield with that lantern. Gets the lash. Oh, the Piltover on towards Aranea. There was no Ignite going down, though. It had already been used.
That would have been terrible if he lost that red buff because Kerp was already having a tough time, but then to make it so Freeze on Caitlyn has the longest range in the game, as we do see actually initiate here out of Maluno bottom, but it might turn sour.
Well, it doesn't manage to get on towards him. White Knight throws out that piercing arrow and quickly put the damage back down on him. That means he's going to get himself a big chunk of farm. But the top lane, it is NIP putting the pressure down on that turret. They've bullied and forced Kerp and Aranea out of that lane. We did see a little bit of glimpse of Bjergsen in the mid lane going aggressive. The Charm Lanzo is going to pull him into a tower range. One tower hit, will it be enough? We can see the Ignite ticking down for Unload. Couldn't quite get close enough to follow it up with the orbs, and he's actually very, very low on mana himself.
Yeah, so Bjergsen, he was out of mana during that. He also committed his flash and his Ignite, but we do see Maluno going in for Bravo.
He's going to launch himself across there, but the flash comes out, has to flash away himself from that charm. It was within a split millimeter. Is that even a thing? I'm not too sure, but it was close.
I'm trying to think if it is. I was trying to think like a split ooze. I don't know, but still, that's Fromler committing 2 flashes away from NIP, which is a phenomenal job considering he had no mana and he was low on health.
Oh dear me. Sometimes I don't know where any of our memories go in this casting. It just goes a little bit of a wander. So, what do we have happening? Not a great deal right now because it's 0-0. There's been a couple of gank attempts, but nothing really being successful. The turrets have not gone down. Right now, in the last match, we'd already lost about 3 turrets. This is positively slow in comparison, but nevertheless, it is going to be building up to a crescendo. I can feel it.
It is slow, but it's a very, very important game for both these teams where, you know, also they've just on a downward spiral ever since they lost Creates and they just not been able to win games. NIP, they want to keep that streak going. They want to get towards the top of the table to secure that first place. And in this weekend, anyone can really go anywhere with this 3-game spread.
And the fact that we've just seen Gambit winning as well is going to put added pressure on towards these teams. Of course, they're going to be closing that gap back on towards Alton. Nobody could really buy a win last week at the top of the table. It does take Gambit to 10-6, I believe, which does mean they are technically top of the table right now. So Alternate want to keep hold of that. Number 3 KDA Kerp, you can see in the EU LCS. That's because he's been playing Shen so much in that top lane that he just wasn't dying the whole time. We are seeing a Dragon, though, for Alternate here. This will be the first one of the game, and it's going to be completely uncontested by NIP.
And Kerp actually came down and went to middle lane just to kind of hold on to make sure Bjergsen didn't shove the lane, but NIP had no vision of it. They have no wards down there because they have their AD carry support top lane.
It does look like the top turret may well go down though, so NIP, that's how they wanted to react to this one. The gold though is even still between the two, which means NIP are doing a good job of farming out here. Despite the fact that Dragon has gone down, we are seeing the lead. And in terms of CS, the mid laners, there's a big differential built up there. It's a 20 CS advantage for Bjergsen over Frenelord.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job of just applying a lot of pressure. We saw Bjergsen last time he was left unchecked, his damage was ridiculous, and I'm curious to see, is Alta going to let this continue to happen? Because RNA, he hasn't ganked yet. He's been just sitting in top lane, making sure Kerp can stay farmed up. He hasn't counter jungled at all, but at least he was able to pick up that first dragon, so he does make that new worth something.
And we do see blue buff being given across to both of these mid laners. Bjergsen, of course, with that defensive ball, is going to wipe out this wave. The charm trying desperately to land on towards Bjergsen, but nothing going with it. There is also a disparity between the, I would say, 2 solo laners, I think I'll call them, because Kerp's in the top, Extinct's down the bottom. It's actually a bit of an advantage built up for Extinct. That's probably down to those failed gank attempts early on. The flash was forced out, and Extinct's been quite a bit more aggressive in this bottom lane. He's got Maluna sat with him, but you can see he's sat on top of a ward, so not going to land there. Shockwave being pulled out, though. Frenelord gets pulled into that one. He sidestepped the charm as well. Didn't want to get too close, because Frenelord's got those orbs floating around him. A lot of damage would have gone back onto Bjergsen.
And Bjergsen, I mean, he has blue buff, so his ultimate's going to be off cooldown relatively quick, and Frenelord, he only has so many health pots in lane. He does get a taunt on a Bjergsen, but look at the damage, it's non-existent.
This time he lands it, the ignite comes out from both mid laners, being aggressive. They wanted to get that damage down, tries to pull that defensive ball. Bjergsen, of course, with that attack, will he land the charm once again here for Frenelord? If he does, if that charm goes in, Bjergsen has to sidestep at the right time because it would be the death of him.
Yes, that would be first, but over to Frenelord, which you already see how strong he is on R, and right now, Maluna, he's waiting for that crescendo to come out of J-Ree, and the Chain of Corruption to come out of White Knight, but I think they know something's up because there's no reason for Extinct to be playing this aggressive when Ultimate is level 6.
Well, if you remember, he was stood on the ward just further up the lane, so they surely suspect that he is still sticking around. That turret, though, it is going to go down. No, it's not. The minions won't finish that. They're going to say Diffusion's going to have to come back and finish it for him.
It's like saying, I have to do all the work here and come back. He just wants to back away and go by, but yeah, they do get the first start of the game, so I'm really curious, where are they going to send Freeze and Deficio now? Maybe go bottom, but Extinct, he's not doing bad. He's been farming up quite well. And we're going to find out. It looks like they will head down bottom here, so we might have a 2-on-2. And Maluna, he's stuck around for a very long time. He wants to make this gank happen, and this could go very bad for them because RNA, he's in the vicinity to turn this around.
Well, we see the backing there. Straight away, goes in, does use less bounce. Oh, and straight away, Chain of Corruption lands on towards Extinct. Quickly stops it in its tracks.
And look where Maluna's been focusing his ganks. He's set one middle, which he had ended up flashing away from Frenelord, and he's been bottom 2 or 3 times now. So he's really trying to make sure that Extinct has a strong early game because it's a cannon. You rely on that CC quite a bit. And then Bjergsen, he's just trying to protect him a little bit, which he already has that 38 CS lead. And the top lane Freeze, I mean, he's pretty much dead even with the AD carry of White Knight. So in the end, Maluna's doing a good job of assessing where he needs to keep his team alive and where to really help them out.
But Kerp's got himself that phage in the top, and he got himself a nice chunk of a farm there. RNA comes in the middle, just getting a little bit of lane tax while Frenelord's not there. Not really lane tax, is it, if he's not there? I guess it's just a drive-by more than anything. So RNA is going to clear out the farm there. And actually, Bjergsen's trying to keep a glimpse on me. He's going to back off and bite. He's going to go for that Athene's and early Grail. I feel that we see Frenelord has just picked up. Had to sell all of his items? I'm trying to think what he started with now, but I don't recall him.
He had 2 fairy charms and health pots, and then he went back, sold. Actually, no, the 2 fairy charms built into the chalice, and then
so he didn't sell anything. He just built it straight in. But he is actually behind, in that terms, of course, is the big CS gap that we're seeing, which is continuing to grow.
Yeah, I mean, we're over 42 CS right now, and the thing is, if you look at the items, Bjergsen has boots, so he's going to be able to dodge the charm a lot easier, where Ferelord, he doesn't have that ability to. We do see again coming down bottom here, but Deficio, he's just too fast.
Yeah, they tried to catch on towards him, but he just walks away from that one. Both supports actually building exactly the same right now. Both got a ping ward, both got the side stone, and a health pot. Or 4 in Deficio's case. 4 health pots.
Quite a bit. I mean, he's expected to take a lot of harass. I'm assuming that means he takes, or just is assuming he's going to be taking a lot of poke out of J-Ree, who currently, he still has a crescendo up, he still has exhaust. Chain of Corruption is going to be up momentarily, so we might see a gank come in, or a kill attempt, but RNA, he's here. He's trying to sneak into that first bush, and when that Chain of Corruption comes up, they're going to go for the kill.
Well, the difference in the ADs, of course, is White Knight has got that BF sword, so certainly will do a little bit more damage, although it's pretty close, honestly. If I'm thinking Vampiric Scepter and Pickaxe, that's about 45, is that? Oh, Chain of Corruption landing on towards Freeze there. Crescendo laid on afterwards. He is going to take the Dark Passage, though, and just like that, that is the utility that Thresh offers. Can just pull him straight out of there. Sidestep onto the charm there. Bjergsen tries to throw the ball out. The attack command is not going to land, and Ferelord walks away from that one. Yeah, still for no first blood.
Yeah, I mean, we're 13 minutes in now. I think he's waiting for a gank potentially to happen here. But considering that Ultimate got the Crescendo, got the Chain of Corruption perfectly onto Freeze, they didn't do much damage, and now he's almost at full health. Like, that just shows how, unfortunately, that gank didn't work, but for Ferelord, that was quick.
Well, there's first blood. We missed that. We waited 13 minutes for the moment, and we missed it. Oh. I feel so let down right now. Extinct, he tries to go aggressive, use that slicing maelstrom on Kurt, but it's not to no avail. We missed the moment.
But still, the kill went over to Bjergsen, so you can imagine how glorious it was in your head.
Yeah, glorious.
You look so disappointed.
Oh, the hook's going to land. Maybe we're going to see a kill here. White Knight's going to get caught out with the box, but the exhaust gets put down on Freeze. The barrier used out. He may turn this one back around on Deficio. He is stood on top of a ward, and now J-Ree's in trouble. Freeze continuing the aggression, throws out the Piltover Peacemaker, but no kill.
Sorry, I'm just amused by you right now, but either way, a lot of damage being traded. Just like you said, no kills going down necessarily, and so the bottom lane is very even in terms of CS, and right now, look at Extinct. He's pushed up very far in that top lane. He doesn't care because no one's come over there to gank him. The blue buff is available for Alternate right now, and RNA, he wasn't in position to take it, so we might actually see NIP potentially try to stop this Dragon from being done. Kerp is backing away because he's going to head over to Dragon to defend it.
Well, Alternate trying desperately to position themselves, but honestly, meanwhile, that top lane, you can see that Extinct is just continuing to shove on down. He's got them Sorcerer's Boots, so he's very mobile. He's got them double Dorans. He's going to do a lot of damage to those turrets, and that inner turret is taking a bit of a beating. It was the first one of the game that went down the top lane, and Extinct is continuing the push, and he's actually building up a bit of a healthy CS advantage over Kurt now.
Yeah, so the two key members are getting very far ahead of their counterparts, and that is just the best sign you could see out of NIP, and it's unfortunate because, well, I'd say it's unfortunate, but NIP's been doing a fantastic job of making it so RNA can't be effective. His ganks won't work because they've been warding up to counter it, and right now, Dragon being started by NIP, this will be the first of the game, and we see Kerp and Ferelord and, well, RNA is coming in to try to potentially go for a steal, but they're not in position to stop this.
Well, no, and he doesn't want to get near Bjergsen. Oh, he got the steal with the piercing arrow! I do not believe it. White Knight redeeming himself there. Piercing arrow steal. We've seen that a number of times now in the LCS. These things should not be happening, especially when Maluna had Smite available.
Oh, that is just really unfortunate for NIP, but a phenomenal job by White Knight right there. And that gives him the second Dragon of the game, gives him a little bit of extra gold, and keeps him in the game a little bit, because look at that CS lead that we talked about middle lane. It used to be 42. Now it's, if I can count, 46. No, 40, I can't count.
You can't count? It's like
64. Yeah. There we go. Wow. Math clearly sucks on me too.
Math is always bad for us casters. It's always a sticking point. Shockwave comes out. Ferelord may well get caught out this time around. Attack command goes back out, but doesn't land. Doesn't find the target. And Ferelord just hops, skips, and jumps away. Still not quite got the damage to burst each other down, but once them needlessly large rods come out, it's going to be a different story.
Yes, it will. And Bjergsen, I mean, that was a great escape by him as well, doing some great harass on Ferelord, and that's how he's building that CS lead that we're talking about. He's constantly pushing Ferelord out of this lane, and it's giving him a nice, healthy advantage. Ferelord, he's trying to catch back up, trying to take these race over and over, and it's honestly working quite a bit. And right now, you see in the bot lane, we saw White Knight and Jerry taking double golems because Freeze and Nafisa were freezing bot lane.
Very well done.
I made it funny. I made it funny. Unintentional.
Not really that funny, though. It is going to be slicing Maelstrom onto Kip. He's going to get locked up. There's the stun. Let's Bounce comes out from Maluno. This time around, they will get themselves a kill. Yes, we caught the second one. And it was Maluno that got in there once again and helped out.
And getting the assist over to Extinct, I mean, it was just very well done. Kerp was pushed up, didn't have any wards, and NIP took full advantage of that. And now, I mean, being up 2-0, 23,000 gold to 21,000 when they lost 2 dragons, and having that one turret over them, it's a very healthy lead.
And looking across the gold, you can see actually it's a big chunk of gold for Bjergsen. He wants to get that initially large rod. Hasn't quite got enough for it. Has just backed. Did he sell an item to get it? May well have sold. No, he went for Haunting Guys instead.
Yep, so
screw me.
So he's going for a little bit of penetration because he's trying to get rid of that magic resist that Forerunner currently has. He even invested into his Merc Treads, so he doesn't want to be caught with that charm for too long. And you see RNA is actually taking his own red here. And like I was saying before, hasn't really been able to make any ganks happen, but NAP's been stopping that, and Kerp, he just doesn't care. He is still pushed up on the second turret. He is trying to take that down, which is already down a good chunk of health, and he actually might be able to catch Kerp here.
He is going to walk straight in towards it. Does try and get on towards him, but Extinct is going to get the stun down on him. There's the stun. He should just be able to walk away from this one. Has got Lightning Surge back up in a moment. He did see Forelnord, like you say, he was heading up there, but Maluno was also heading off in the pass. But while that happens, every time Forelnord steps away, Bjergsen gains a lot more CS, and he's continuing to keep that little build up. Flashes for it, both of them actually. Forelnord with the Ignite down. Bjergsen continuing to keep the damage on that turret, taken very low. Aaron Air tries to come back around the side. He gets slowed. Bjergsen's not afraid right now.
And considering how much of an advantage he has, I'm a little bit surprised he hasn't taken that turret down just yet. But as I say that, he might go for it right here. And Maluno, he is coming down middle. He's trying to help out here. They might even try to go for a kill on Aranea, but Maluno is currently sitting on top of that ward, so this gank won't really happen.
Yeah, we're going to see him launch across, but that turret is taking a lot of damage. He may well just jump across and go for it. Nevertheless, you are going to see the defensive ball on towards Maluno. Can he get the damage down? Does use Let's Bounce on Aranea. There's the attack command from Bjergsen. This time, though, Fire Arrow flashes away from it. Kurt back in towards this top lane. He's desperately trying to defend off Extinct. He's continuing to grind down this turret.
And he's still gaining even further of a CS lead currently, and no one's really coming to help Kerp right now. As I say that, though, Frontlord's coming in from the side. He's not spotted by a ward, and they might be able to make a kill happen. As he does, just run away.
That little Yordle, he's a sneaky little son of a bitch, and he just gets away. Just lightning surges off up towards the top there. No problem about that one. Bottom lane, we haven't had a good look at those for a while. They're actually even in terms of CS as well. Bloodthirster has been built by White Knight. Meanwhile, we do see the Infinity Edge going to try and get built by Freeze. He's not too far away from that one either. I feel it will be on right now. And honestly, considering Freeze's the number 2 GPM in the EU LCS at 285. Just, I don't know where these stats come to. They just come from my mind.
It's also on the screen.
They just come to me overnight, and and then Dirk spoils it and puts it on the screen.
Yeah, oh man, so yeah, I mean, highest GPM, so you know he's farming it quite a bit. He's been always farming as much as possible, but he hasn't been involved in any kills just yet, which honestly, it doesn't matter too much in the end. He's going to be stronger as the game goes on. He's going to eventually outscale White Knight a little bit just because he has that range advantage once he gets the items he's going to need. But he has the major item completed now with that Infinity Edge, so he should be able to take White Knight on 1v1, assuming that he doesn't get locked down too easily.
And speaking of major items, Extinct has got himself a needlessly large rod as well. There's that Haunting Guys and Sorcerer's Boots. So honestly, NIP is starting to look very dangerous here. They have started to get a gold advantage. The Dragon's going to be up in just a minute's time. You can see it. And then, well, it's almost a 3,000 gold. Forelnord's going to be taking that blue buff away. He's going to require that one, honestly, because the pressure is mounting on him. You can see he's nearly 80 CS behind now on Bjergsen. That in itself is a lot of gold.
Yes, that is. I mean, we can take a look at it real quick just to tab over. Is that he's at 7,900 gold to the 5,800 or 5,900. That is a hugely 2,000. Like, we're almost at the point where, right now it's a needlessly large rod between them, but also we're almost at the point where it's a Rabadon's death cap, which just shows you he's been consistently out farming him mid lane, really putting the pressure on, and it's all due to, I think, because Bjergsen hasn't been roaming around. You pointed out a couple times, Frontlord, every time he leaves lane, Bjergsen farms up a little more every single time, gets even more of an advantage, and because that small advantage he's been gaining a couple of times now, he's been able to build up this lead.
Yeah, and that 3,000 gold lead is just between the two players. Extinct's got 1k, Bjergsen's got 2k. That is the difference right now. Those two carries, those two solo laners are doing a fantastic job for NIP, and this is what we talked about. You've talked about it before. The pressure is taken off Bjergsen by the fact that Extinct is playing very well in that top lane. Freeze is playing very well well in the bottom lane, along with Defrizio, whatever they like to call that lane these days. But they have been doing a fantastic job. Extinct is going to sneak around. This time Forellenlord may well be in trouble. Sidesteps away from the charm. The attack command does land, but Forellenlord again had that one dash left on his ultimate, and he is very hard to pin down. But this means that NIP, they're going to move for the dragon.
Yeah, I mean, that's all they really needed to do. Now his ultimate's not available. This dragon should be for free. But though, remember last time, NIP tried to do it. It got stolen away by Piercing Arrow. But this time, it doesn't look like White Knight's necessarily in position. He's going to be coming around here, and NIP, they cannot afford to lose another dragon. They have to lock this one down. They have Smite available. There's no reason to miss this one.
Well, there's the Piercing Arrow again, charged up. It's going to be too early, though. They are actually delaying it on purpose there as well. Defensive ball on Maluno. This time it will be taken as Bjergsen that gets it. Still didn't smite it. I don't know why. He must have a reason.
I'm trying to think if there might be one where maybe RNA could go for an early Baron, but he doesn't have the items he needs to do it. No one else on the team has the items to do it.
Just use Smite on the Wolf.
Well, Wolves are more important than Dragon in this game. I mean, Wolves give you more. Okay, anyway, so NIP can be backing away. They do have that edge still onto Caitlyn, and Bjergsen. He's getting to that point where he's 100 CS lead, and he just doesn't care. Like, he's pushed up quite far, and Forellenlord's going to go in on him here, but look at the damage.
He has got the ultimate available, but the Shockwave pulls him back in there straight away. Aranea is going to try and use the absolute zero. Will go off with defensive ball. Pretty much block most of the damage there. Bjergsen turns it back around here. Maluno goes launching himself in there. Has got Let's Bounce available if he wants it. There it is. He gets the stun down. Bjergsen gets sidestepped the wrong way there. The damage is going to be enough, surely. Oh, he's flashed perfectly. Brilliant stuff. I think he may have consumed a minion at the same time. Forellenlord will get locked down. Extinct came around to pick that one up. That is the third kill of the game.
And look at that damage that's coming out of Bjergsen. This is the second time that ultimates try to gank him and try to kill him, and the second time it's failed, and almost more horribly than that, because Forellenlord almost got taken down 1v1. Houston Kirk was finally able to get away from his second turret at the top and able to push up to the first turret of NIP. So NIP's doing a great job so far. The CS lead is growing, the gold lead total is growing, and right now, actually Freeze is building a build around a Cutlass, so he's going for a Blade of the Ruin King, which is a little bit unusual.
Oracle was picked up by Deficia. There's a lot of ward coverage around that dragon as well that NIP had built up. White Knight's going to get himself the red buff. Freeze is quite happily free farming down the bottom. He's going to get a bit of damage on towards this turret just before White Knight and J-Ree return to this bottom lane. At the moment, Alternate, they are up against it right now. They're getting close to a 5,000 gold deficit against NIP. NIP looking very strong to take it 7-1 since they've had the roster change.
So, I mean, also, they're not out of this at all, because look what they currently have at RNA. Because he's been sitting in lane, because he's been farming up quite a bit, he actually already has his runic bulwark done. So against this double AP comp that currently NIP is running, he's going to be mitigating quite a bit of that, as he even has a Hex Trigger onto Kurt. But Forellenlord now taken very low again.
The Shockwave once again comes out from Bjergsen, this time not quite able to take him down. He's effectively 2v1 in this mid lane right now, and he's still coming out on top.
And that, it's just, you can't have that happen. And the thing is, now they can't shut him down. If anyone has to come, it's got to be Kerp, or it's got to be White Knight. They need some sort of damage dealer, which RNA as Nunu, unfortunately, doesn't fill that role. And I don't think we actually spotted Kerp and Bjergsen right there, but Bjergsen, just look at that lead. 100 CS now, 102.
Straight up, 100 plus CS, and he's just going to keep on growing. Aranea back in that mid lane, but Freeze, he's doing damage. He's taking down the turret. The hook gets thrown out, doesn't land on White Knight. Maluno was there to just try and cover him off. Another lead that's been building was Extinct versus Kerp. Kerp was stepping off to the side, but every time he does that Extinct, he's the one that's been roaming. He's got himself that Zhonya's Hourglass now, and he's got himself a big healthy lead build up over Kerp. I don't think he's too worried about this. He needs to be, though, because Forellenlord is coming around the side. He's in trouble. He gets stunned out there, tries the lightning rush away from this one. Slicing Maelstrom has got Zhonya's Hourglass. If he wants to use it, he's going to get in the bush. Will he go for it? He's not even going to bother using it. Now he used it. It's a little bit late.
Oh, is he going to escape? There's no way.
No.
Oh, there's no way.
Get the stun down. He's going to have one more dash. Forellenlord, he's going to throw the charm out, max life. No, Kerp does manage to catch him down there.
He threw his Ignite on him.
Sneaky
like,
little Yordle.
There's no way that Yordle's escaping. I'm going to knight you. I'm going to kill you. And NIP, off the back of that chase that we saw, they didn't take any objectives, unfortunately, but they still are farming away. And Bjergsen, he went back, he bought, and he has a death cap.
He has himself the death cap, along with the Athenes and Haunting guys. And it does mean Maluno, he's going to be helping out, taking that red buff. Not going to be giving it across the AD. Deficio, they have backed away in that bottom lane. And White Knight and J-Ree, they've just been pressured and pressured. CS-wise, though, is still even between the two. And it looks like Kerp will take this turret down. No, he won't, because Maluno's going to come up and defend it.
Yeah, so the NIP's been able to hold onto all their turrets quite well. I mean, up 3-0. 26 minutes in the game is relatively hard to do, but it's just due to how strong each lane's been, how much pressure each lane's been applying. And keep in mind, Kerp and Extinct were both in 1v2 lanes off the bat. and yet Extinct just completely outfiring. Bjergsen doesn't really take much damage.
He actually landed the charm and missed the follow-up. He'd expected the charm to turn him around the other way, but instead it carried on walking. And that means Deficio Bjergsen doesn't take any damage whatsoever. And he's quite happy to just keep on wandering. That CS advantage is growing bigger and bigger. Every time they come back to lane, it keeps on growing. And it's up to nearly 3,000 gold now, just shy of it, 2,900 gold. That's a bloody big lead.
And he's level 18. 6 minutes in as Extinct gonna get engaged upon again by Kurt, who has a frozen mount, so he's gonna be able to keep up with him here. He actually might be able to pick up the kill.
No, I don't think so. He's just gonna walk back to the tower, stuns him out there. He's gonna have to go very deep if he wants to pick that one up, and Extinct was quite happy to back away. He was actually buying time for this mid lane as well, because we are seeing 4 members of NIP starting to group up here in the mid. Where are they gonna go?
The thing is, we have to keep in mind that Kerp, he's been pushed to his 2nd turret the entire game right now, but that just shows right there, with his item, with that frozen mount being built, he was actually able to push Extinct away, which means he'll be able to farm past his own turret, might be able to apply some pressure towards the top turret and potentially get that down, but still Extinct almost now is level 16, so we might see NIP go for some team fights here because they are so strong.
Well, the Dragon will be up in 30 seconds. NIP just sitting off at the side. Maluno wound up ready, he's going to go in, he catches on Forello, but the rest of his team not quite on the same wavelength. Ace in the hole gets blocked off by Aranea. Dark Passage has been thrown out available. There's going to be the absolute zero. Will it pop? We do see a lot of ultimates layered on there. We can see Chain of Corruption catching on towards it. Beautiful, but the shockwave was brilliant once again from Bjergsen. He does manage to catch it out. Deficio that actually picks up a double kill with a flay there. That's going to be another picked up by Freeze with the Piltover Peacemaker, and they do manage to get themselves 3 kills for 0. Would you believe Extinct escaped from that one with nothing?
Just wow. I mean, the ultimate coming out of Orianna, out of Bjergsen, it was so well delayed that it was able to save Extinct. I mean, he would have died if he didn't pop that one on them, and the damage out of that was ridiculous. They're going to be able to pick up the Baron off of this, and also their response, we'll take Dragon.
Well, Dragon's better than nothing, that's for sure, but it will be a Baron nonetheless for all 5 members of NIP. Alternate just going to try and keep the gold deficit at a minimum. It's only really going to stretch it. It's not taking it down a great deal, honestly. It's still a pretty big lead, and it is NIP with a huge advantage built up over Alternate right now.
And Demon, we might potentially have all Spaniards losing today.
Yes.
Which blows my mind, considering the crowd's here just waiting for it. But we'll see as the game goes on. Obviously, Alternate, they're not out of it just yet. I mean, if you have a charm, you follow it up with your entire CC chain, you can kill that person. And it's just all about NIP dodging the charm, dodging the CC, and not allowing Alternate to catch them off guard here. But with that Baron buff, I mean, Alternate, they can just push wherever they want. I mean, they're still waiting for Extinct's Alternate to come off cooldown, but he does have Flash available.
Sorry, I was distracted. 2 trays of cakes went walking past there. I was like, where are they going? They went that away, by the way. Cupcakes, lots of cupcakes. They were all fancy made up ones by the staff, but nevertheless, the game is good. The game is good. It's only 6-1 though, with 30 minutes in, so on average, that's not too many kills overall. Just saying, just throwing it out there. It's been a slow one. 6-1 for NIP though, and they are in full control. 3-1 up in turrets. And it's the middle inner turret that they're maybe going to focus on. That top inner turret actually was taken very low already. If you remember, Extinct has put some work down on that one. And it does look like NIP, they are going to gather. They have that Baron. They're going to push for the mid.
I think the slow game is going to turn around right here because the damage that NIP has, if they land that ultimate off of Orianna, it's not going to seem slow at all because the damage is going to be explosive. And Maluno, he's still waiting off on the side. He's trying to prepare for an initiate here, but Alternate, they're trying to ward up everything they possibly can to stop that, as you do see NIP walking through, and I believe Deficio he does have an Oracle on himself, so good to clear out that vision. It makes it so much harder for Alternate to prepare for an attack because Maluno will just be able to surprise you.
Well, they're going to sneak off around towards this bottom lane. They have got a wave coming in there. Bjergsen's going to go and make sure it pushes itself. The rest of Alternate are going to rotate around and try and defend it. Extinct's going to go up towards the middle lane. He's going to clear out that wave, so it's going to give themselves 2 opportunities to try and push in and take one of these inner turrets down, make use of that Baron. Doing it simply by the numbers.
Oh, we're going to see them coming from the backside here. Bjergsen's going to be a little careful, but here goes engage on Maluno.
Chain of Corruption missed. The box goes down, and there's a good disengage from NIP. There's the shockwave. The ball delivery system worked perfectly once again. Bjergsen gets himself a double kill. Extinct goes in aggressive. He gets himself another. Aranea goes down. The 8 is just absolutely slammed down onto Alternate. That was Destruction Derby from NIP.
I swear, they need a surprise party Zac skin. Because when he went in, you just hear him going, surprise! As he's just bouncing on top of them, yeah. Because they just completely caught them in all their CC chain. Extinct coming in from the backside. That was just phenomenally perfectly textbook initiation of NIP.
And they tried to just catch out the fact that Extinct was in the mid lane briefly, but he was already almost there. And that's going to be the Nexus turret going down. NIP have just destroyed Alternate. They have knocked them off the top perch, and that means NIP are actually equal with Alternate right now. They're both going to be at 9 and 7. So NIP go second in the league with that win. Fantastic performance.
It really was. I mean, they were just in complete control of that game for the entirety of it. Just right off the bat, you look at them, I mean, they look pretty happy. They're also like, you know, another day, another day.
Thinking that was actually a pretty easy win, and it felt that way, honestly. Bjergsen just completely destroyed for Lord in the mid lane. 371 CS to 228. Not even the same ballpark figure. That's 150 CS almost difference between, honestly, the ELO King and this young upstart kid that came into NIP 3 weeks, or back in the Copenhagen Wolves it was in the spring split, just turned 17. Fresh-faced kid has absolutely destroyed the ELO King.
And you know that NIP has been working so hard these past couple weeks, really wanting to show everyone that they're the real deal. And honestly, they proved it right there. Phenomenal job, and everyone's happy to see that.
Absolutely. Good to see them all shaking hands. It does mean 4 Spaniards have all lost today. We're going to go over to Joe Miller and Freak to take us through exactly why.
Thanks a lot, guys. And, well, Freak, it's hard to really say much about that game other than what a performance from NIP.
Absolutely. It was an amazing just play by them overall. I've got to hand it mostly to Bjergsen.
Yeah.
D-Man called it right. He crushed the lane. He had... I'm sorry, I'm pulling up the numbers right here. 371 minions in a 31-minute game. 13.6 thousand gold. The dude was phenomenal. And mind you, this was him getting counterpicked, if I remember Champ Select properly. He had picked Orianna first. The Ahri came in afterwards, and he's like, that's fine, I'll deal with it. I'll take you down anyway. Constantly won his lane 1v1. Kept going back into the jungle and picking up minion kills. Just wanted to get a big gold lead. And the thing is, even though he was the hard carry, he still tried to itemize a little bit defensively. Went Mercury Treads, grabbed the early chalice for some magic resist. The Haunting guys adding some health as well. He kind of splashed damage with durability, was never threatened all game. Even at the very last team fight at the bottom, they actually caught on to him.
Yeah.
But he was level 18, had a bunch of ability power, got out of the CC, and then set up a beautiful team fight.
Yeah, and also to mention, I mean, we could probably just go through the entire NIP lineup, to be honest. Maluno on Zac, absolutely brilliant there. We saw him bouncing in a couple of times in the middle where it looked like there was the possibility maybe of Bjergsen getting killed off, but no, they turned it around a couple of times in that one. I think a flash from RNA where he flashed over towards the Wraiths, stopped a double kill coming in there as well for Bjergsen. The bottom lane, Defrizio, I mean, again, absolutely amazing. 205 for Freeze, 206 actually for Defizio. Over 300 CS in the end for Freeze as well. Just all around a very, very strong game. And it's strange really because, you know, we're here in Spain, we've had a Spanish player in all 4 games and they've lost every single game. I mean, that's statistically quite strange.
Except for TCM. The Challenger team did go 2-0 with 2 Spaniards in their team. It seems that you need more than 1, and if you do, then you're okay. All right, Gambit went 3-0 with 5 Russians on their team. And you've got TCM, who's got 2 Spaniards in the team. That's enough. As long as you have more than 1, I think you're okay. So we might see some roster swaps to make this one happen a little bit better.
Might have to grab a couple of guys out of the crowd and get them going with that one. But what we're going to do now is head over onto the main stage because we have one half of Defrizio waiting with Shocks.
Thank you very much. I'm here with Freeze, one half of Defrizio of NIP. Tell me the story of the picks and bans. You went for bans on Lee Sin, Lissandra, and Shen, which tells me you didn't seem particularly scared of the ELO King for Elnord.
Estaba preguntando por el tema de los bans. Han baneado a Lee Sin, Lissandra, y no me acuerdo cuál era el siguiente pick, pero estaba preguntándole por qué esos bans.
Well, we know that they're really like the really mobile champions like Lee Sin, Lissandra, and the strong part of the team is when they roam in the mid game. And we didn't kind of manage to find a counter for their roam, so we managed to ban the Lee Sin and Lissandra, which are the most favorite picks for them. And as you see, the game went slowly for us, and that was what we were aiming for.
Realmente no es que tuviesen miedo a ningún campeón en concreto, sino que simplemente lo que querían era de alguna forma banear la movilidad que tiene el equipo de Alternate con estos picks. Bueno, por eso han baneado a Lee Sin, a Lissandra y también en este caso sería Shen. y que parece ser que les ha ido bastante bien porque lo que consiguieron es que a base de evitar ese posible roam por parte del equipo enemigo, que de alguna forma la partida fuese un poquito más lenta y en este caso a su favor.
You were on Caitlyn and Fisher was on Thresh. Why did you decide to lane swap in the beginning?
Pregunta por qué han decidido él y de Fisio jugar con Caitlyn y Thresh, en este caso cambiar las líneas.
Well, we picked the bot lane really early, was the first picks, and that obviously means that they have the chance of the counter picking the bot lane, and they kind of did. Like they picked Varus and Sona, and Varus and Sona is really strong against Thresh and Caitlyn because we have no sustain. So we felt we need to swap, and then we will do fine if we don't play aggressive after level 6 when we swap back. And we really knew that with the Zag, we will push faster the tower, and then we will to have the advantage early. So we just swap, denied the Aurelia, and then swap back and play the safe game because we knew we have a like monster teamfight combo.
Realmente lo que hicieron fue hacer un swap de líneas porque en este caso, al haber piqueado, al haber cogido, mejor dicho, unos campeones al principio, es decir, en este caso la bot lane, el enemigo lo hizo muy bien en este caso cogiendo un Varus y pudiendo además hacerles counter en la bot lane. Es por eso por lo que swapearon la línea, la cambiaron y a partir de ahí, un rato más tarde, volvieron a cambiar para luego estar mejor. Ayudados además de Zac cuando estuvieron arriba.
Great win here in your first game on the stage in Tenerife. How are you enjoying Spain and the atmosphere here?
Primera partida por su parte en el stage de Tenerife. ¿Cómo lo estáis pasando aquí con este público?
I can just say that Spain is really awesome. We spent early. As you can see, the crowd is super, and we spent a lot of time at the pool, and we just relaxed and chill a bit and spoke about the bands and pigs, and it's really, really super in the weather. It's really warm, and like I'm enjoying it, the Spain. I can just lay over the pool and relax. What can I say?
Bueno, lo que dice es que en sí el público ha sido increíble, además les ha ayudado bastante. El clima también es muy bueno, han estado sobre todo pasando el tiempo en la piscina. De hecho, han discutido las tácticas ahí y bueno, eso, que el clima es bastante calentito.
Thank you very much, Freeze. As for us, let's go to our commentators, Demon and Jason, one more for a look back at today's matches and results.
Thank you very much, Shocks, and thank you, Freeze and Edgar, for giving us the translations as well. Well, Freeze didn't really give translations, Edgar did. So let's go over the day's matches. Let's check out the games that we had today. It's been a long day. There was, of course, the start of the day before the LCS began. It was TCM that managed to pick up a win there, but you can see once the LCS got underway, Meet Your Makers managed to break their curse. They, for some reason, were losing games left and right since that first few amazing weeks they had in the LCS. They did take down SK Gaming, continued the stream. Evil Geniuses, they looked very strong. Great team fighting overall, great teamwork overall, honestly, with the new jungler, Shaka.
Yeah, I mean, he played phenomenally well too on that at least, and then following that game up was Gambit versus Lemon Dogs, which Lemon Dogs, very strong start for them, taking those two middle turrets very early on, but they just kind of let the game slip away. Gambit was able to claw their way back in, and if you give them a finger, they take your whole arm, and as you just saw, NIP just walking over Alternate right there with just outplaying them in every single lane, and not to mention Bjergsen with that over 120 CS lead at the end of the game.
So let's check out how that makes everything look, because the standings are definitely starting to be shaking up already. We talked about it last week, how close things were, and already we're starting to see developments. We can see Gambit, they're now at the top, 10-6 with that win. Alternate with a loss means that NIP are equal on them in second place. Technically Alternate at top because they're 2-1 up over NIP right now, but they're both on 9-7, and Fnatic and Lemon Dogs, after the loss for Fnatic and the loss for Lemon Dogs, both sink themselves down to 8-8.
Yeah, and you see Meet Your Makers currently at 7-9 with their victory today. EG 7-9 with their victory, and unfortunately SK go down to 6-10, but still, look at how close these standings are. It is ridiculous. It's mirrored completely across halfway through. Anything can really happen, and we have a couple of weeks left to go. And it's just getting like more intense, more crucial every time for these teams to win.
It's interesting to see the two teams technically down the bottom. Meet Your Makers and SK, both teams, the only two teams now remaining in LCS that haven't had roster changes. So
wow,
we will see how that turns out. So that is it from myself, Jason. Let's head over to the crew. Well, we could go to the crew, but I don't think you'd want to hear what they've got to say. Let's go to Shockstoke. She's got some better thoughts.
Great first day here in Tenerife, although all of the Spanish players lost their games today, but they'll have other chances, of course. We'll be seeing you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central European Summer Time. That is 6 a.m. Pacific, when we start the second day with our Challenger semifinal, our second Challenger semifinal. And after that, we head right into the LCS with Meteor Makers versus Fnatic, SK versus Gambit, Alternate versus EG, and NIP versus Lemon Dogs.
Os veremos mañana a las 3 p.m. hora peninsular en este caso, 1 hora menos en Canarias, 6 a.m. hora pacífica. Comenzaremos el día con nuestra segunda semifinal de la Liga Aspirante y después volveremos con más LCS con Meteor Makers contra Fnatic, SK contra Gambit Gaming, Alternate contra Evil Geniuses y Ninjas in Pyjamas contra Lemon Dogs.
But you don't have to wait that long for League of Legends action. You can just hop over to the North American stream as they are continuing with the North American LCS right now.
La LCS en Norteamérica ha comenzado, asegurad de echarle un ojo también.
Now, on behalf of myself, Jason, D-Man, Joe, Freak, and Edgar, thank you very much for watching. Hasta luego.